Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to CAN TV. My name is Ava, and I'm your host this afternoon for the Greater Westtown Training Partnership. And along with me as my guest, I have Mr. Dunjuma Gaskin. He's one of our instructors there. Hello, Dunjuma.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for
Good.
having me.
Could you tell our viewers a little bit about why they would possibly want to come to the woodworking class at Greater Westtown?
Sure. Well, if you're someone that likes to work with your hands, you like making things, this could be the program for you. It's 15 weeks. You're learning how to make furniture, how to build cabinets, how to assemble, how to work with the tools, power tools, the machines, and a host of other things that go with making furniture.
Okay, can you give our viewers a little bit of the structure as to, say, what's the first step that they would take if they wanted to express their interest in the woodworking program?
Well, you can start by giving us a call, and then we'd have you come in for what we call orientations. And that orientation is kind of the first step in applying to the program. You actually get a tour of the shop. You get to see a class that's in session, and you fill out an application and some other assessments, and then we take it from there.
Okay, what are some of the challenges a person might have once they're in the class or going through the process of getting to the class?
Well, challenges, they could be looked at as challenges, but really these are, I guess, tests of character. So one of them is being timely, being on time, showing up every day. Actually, we treat this program like job training. So it's 15 weeks, Monday through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And lots of hands-on training. For 12 of those 15 weeks, you're actually in the shop 4 hours out of that 6.5-hour day learning. So, you know, it's an educational environment, but we also treat it like a job. So being here on time, being able to pay attention, being able to be on your feet, working in a shop environment or an environment that is very similar to how you'll be working in a shop in the industry. And so, you know, there are classes, shop math, that can be quite fun, that you need to know. You can measure twice but only cut once.
Heard that many times.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a caller out there. Caller, go ahead. What's your question?
Yes, great show as always. I'm a veteran, and I wanted to know if any of the people that you hire is maybe 30% or 35% set aside for veterans. After all, you know, we've served our country proudly, and we should be given a little edge, a little consideration to get the jobs first.
All right. Well, one of the things we don't do is we don't hire anyone. We actually provide you with training and help get you hired in a job after completion of our training program. We are open to adults 18 and up.
Okay. Would you consider giving 35% of your training to veterans, you know, first? Because, you know, like I said before, they've served our country proudly, and they should get a little edge, you know, to get the training into your training program, which is probably great.
Sure. Well, we honestly, we don't have, you know, percentages allotted like that. It's whoever comes. If you come and you apply and you're a good fit for the program, we accept you, whether that's 50% veterans, 35%. Yeah, it's kind of who comes. We even accept people with criminal backgrounds. We found that this industry...
Okay, then why don't you, when you're on TV, reach out to the veterans and say, listen, you guys are great. We would like all the veterans that want a job to come to our job training instead of saying, you know, ex-offenders but we want the veterans first.
Well, I'll put it this way. We are open to accepting veterans. If you happen to be a veteran, come in and apply, and we will find out more about who you are. And yeah, thank you, caller.
Did that answer your question? Okay, since he's hit on that, let's give them a little bit more about how's the process. Is there a minimum age requirement? And you did touch on the basis of that you do accept persons with barriers.
Yeah, 18 and up. The age ranges have been our average. Generally, we tend to get a lot of people between their 30s and their mid to late 40s. However, 18 and up is the minimum requirement. Barriers. We do accept people with backgrounds. We do accept veterans who've served our country. We accept women. We accept any person who's capable of doing this job, being on their feet all day. If you're able to lift up to 55 pounds, things like that. There's some minimum requirements, at least that we found that shops who do hire people have some requirements in terms of physical requirements for performing this type of work. You do not need your GED or your high school diploma. You just have to be able to perform at a 6th grade reading and math level. And I think as far as barriers, financial barriers. Well, the good thing about our training is it's provided at no cost. If you are low income and meet those requirements, say, for instance, you're receiving some form of public benefits, you're collecting unemployment, things like that. Maybe even if you have a part-time job, but you fall under the low-income guidelines, chances are you'll qualify for this training. It's provided for you at no cost. We even provide a transportation stipend weekly in the form of a bus card or gas card to get you to the training.
Okay, so there are supportive services in place for those that qualify, meet the requirements, and are enrolled in the class. So they would get the bus card every week and the gas card every week.
Yeah.
So okay, that's great. That's nice to know. Now you touched on the basis of women being in the class. How do the women fare in these classes? In the working classes?
Generally, women perform very well. Often they tend to outperform their male counterparts in the class. And yeah, I mean, it's, if you're in an environment and you treat people equally regardless of gender, everything's all right. Yeah, it works out.
So I'm going to take a moment to put this on the screen for the viewers so that they'll have the information as to where all of this takes place. And this, of course, is at the Greater Westtown Training Partnership, and it's the Wood Product Manufacturing Training Program. The location is 500 North Sacramento Boulevard, Chicago, Illinois, 60612. The phone number is 312-563-9570 so that you can call and get yourself registered. We have other forms of communication, which you see there, which is Facebook, the World Wide Web, and the email. So callers, those of you that are interested, there's a class starting April 9th, I believe. So get in there and do what you need to do to get a seat in that class, because they're going like hotcakes, okay? So, Dunjamo, let's get back to the students.
Yeah.
What could they expect, say, like in a typical day?
In a typical day, you get there, like I said, you're in the shop first thing in the morning. You are working on your projects. Each class generally gets through 3 or 4 projects that are designed to give you introductions to all of the machinery, pretty much all the machines in our shop, which also are very similar, if not the exact same machines that you find in places that you'll be working. Work on your project. During the first half of the day, you get a half-hour lunch, and then the second remaining 2 hours is usually spent in the classroom.
Okay, could you tell us about some of the machinery that the students are trained on in the class?
Yeah, so we have stationary table saws, sliding table saws, band saws, drill presses. We even have some V-nailer machines used for picture framing, white belt sanders, edge belt sanders. Um, uh, yeah, a host of things. CNC machines. We have two CNC machines also that we use for those of you that don't know, CNC machines are computer numerically controlled machines where you program information such as drilling or cutting of an object, and then you have the workpiece that you actually place in the machine, and the machine from that programming automatically performs the functions that you've entered into the machine. So CNC machines are used a lot in high volume production, which a lot of the shops that we get people placed at tend to do a lot of high volume production. So even how we approach some of the projects, you may work on a chair or a table or even a cabinet, and there's a way that you can make it as if you were just going to make one of those items. But how we approach it is as if you were going to be making like 100 of them.
Okay,
So,
so the CNC machine with the technology today, even though they go hand in hand, so what you're saying is after the programming of the machine, you're basically pulling the product off and just more or less putting it together or giving it its final touches.
Yeah.
And it cuts the work time in half.
It can cut the work time in half. There's usually after the processing on the CNC machine, there's some finishing touches, assembly required, finishing. After that, still have to do some sanding and protective layers of lacquer, varnish.
Okay, so viewers, what we're going to do is, you brought some slides along
Oh, yeah.
for us, so we're going to go and see some of the photos. And this machine right here, you want to explain it to the viewers?
Yeah, that's just a table saw. The class there is getting a demonstration on their early first time kind of using that, and actually what they're doing is, I think that's Betty, she is changing the blade. So we do a little bit, we cover a bit of like maintenance of the machine, basics, how to change a blade. Believe it or not, one thing most people don't know is there are different blades for many different, like for solid wood, for plywood, based off what type of cut you're going to do. So these are things we learn. You learn like the different blades that exist out there, even like the number of teeth on the blade that do the cutting. These are things we look at.
Okay, and this one.
Yeah, and Rudy is going through there and doing, kind of showing, we look at your position actually on the table saw. So they're just cutting parts for a cabinet they're working on. And that particular class, they are doing wood identification. So one of the things, wood technology is very important. And so one of the things we have people do is kind of have a number of samples there that you go through and identify to learn. Yeah. Yeah, so there, that's some sanding of some pieces of a table.
That she's preparing. Okay.
Yeah. And also there are, the table is being drilled to the base. There's the legs and the top. And so that's kind of a final process of that. So that particular table actually, to give you an example of what the person learned, they actually processed the legs and that stretcher there from rough lumber.
Okay.
And got it square and smooth. And then the top of the table is actually particle board and plastic laminate. So they learn how to use contact cement and applied plastic laminate to a substrate.
Okay, all right. Now, when we were looking at the photos of the students while they're there at the shop doing building whatever the product is that they're working on, I see everyone had on safety glasses. You were looking. The instructor was standing in the background, looking at like the the placement of his hand. So are they taught safety first?
Yeah, safety is a big thing. We've never had anyone lose a finger, cut a hand off or anything like that. We want to keep that track record. Safety is very important. Actually, before anyone comes in and uses the machines, we give them a demonstration on how that machine is safely operated, the main function of the machine, like, its original design intent. And after that, they even have to take safety quizzes.
Okay, caller, are you there?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, yes, I was actually calling in on behalf of my wife. She went to your program not too long ago, and she quickly got a job, and she's doing amazing at it, and I want to thank you guys for everything you've done.
Oh,
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you. So yeah, that if you're out there and you're listening, you actually just heard a real testimony of someone who's had success in our training program.
So my other question, what was it in regards to the women, the safety? Oh, the industry. Okay, you said there's job placement after the completion of the program.
Yeah.
So what is the industry like now? Where would they expect to be placed? Is the industry booming, or is it kind of laid back, or?
Construction has been on an upswing, and this industry is one that's kind of directly related to construction, to businesses. A lot of the shops we get people placed at are furniture shops, picture framing shops, scenic shops that do even like TV studios, things like that. So, people are going into business. Restaurants need counters and furniture and chairs. So, yeah, we get a call from an employer who's a restaurant seating manufacturer. People are buying art. The hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, hospitals need artwork. So we have an employer that actually provides a lot of artwork for those companies, and that employer makes the picture frames for the artists who display their work. So yeah, there's so many ways in which things are related to this industry that most people don't think about every day. Every time you go into a Burger King or a McDonald's, someone, and chances are it's a local company, that made the counters and the seating actually for that. And these are companies that don't, advertise. You'll never see a commercial of theirs on TV or a billboard out on the street or anything. But actually, there's still a lot of manufacturing done in the city and in the Chicagoland area. Yeah.
Okay, what type of salary base should they expect, and what is the job percentage ratio of placing the students overall?
Overall, we tend to maintain an 85% placement rate. Average salaries, recently we've been getting classes coming out on the average of 13 an hour, somewhere around there. On the low end, 11, and on the high end, 16. Also, one of the factors that contribute to starting salary is your previous experience. If you've had previous experience, chances are you can negotiate. This is an industry where experience matters a lot in terms of wages and salary negotiation. On the same note, the majority of our participants have had no experience. This program is for beginners. If you've never used a drill, never sawed anything, this program, it doesn't matter. Come as you are.
But it sounds like the training that they're receiving is intense, so if they're grasping, if they're understanding, if they're getting it, if they're graduating, so their only way is up, because once you teach them the basics, that they're just growing with the technology and their knowledge of what they have learned once they're placed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the types of jobs have needs for woodworking skills that are out there?
As I mentioned earlier, scenic shops. There are actually a few studios like the movie industry or the TV industry. There are lots of shows filmed in Chicago, and actually the people who make those sets are local companies. So there are companies like that. They hire woodworkers. We've gotten people placed at shops like that. Also cabinetry shops. And we've recently gotten people placed at, like I said, shops that make picture frames, even instrument shops. One of the largest manufacturers of harps is actually here in Chicago. And so we get people placed at, an instrument, harp manufacturer. Museums. We've gotten people recently placed at museums because someone actually has to make the exhibit. And these are, like I say, everyday things people come in contact with that they don't really think about.
Even think about it. Okay, viewers, once again, I'm going to flash to you the information for Greater Westtown. And here it is on the screen. It's the Greater Westtown Training Partnership. It's the Wood Product Manufacturing Training Program. The location is 500 North Sacramento Boulevard, Chicago, Illinois, 60612. The phone number is 312-563-9570. Again, you can see your contacts there on Facebook, the World Wide Web, and you can also email the Greater Westtown. The orientation for woodworking is on a Tuesday at 8:45 a.m. in the morning. So call and reserve a seat for yourself so you can get into the up-and-coming class April 9th. Okay? So, Dunjuma, is there anything else that you might have missed or that you'd like to talk a little bit more about in regards to? I know I had a question, like the students, do you ever take them out on field trips, or is there exposure to other shops so that they can actually see what they may be doing once they're hired?
Yeah, we do take them out on field trips. Each class, we try to get anywhere from 2 to 3 field trips in, at least 2. And we also try to have that variety of that shop, the range, a variety in it in terms of, we try not to take, we may take someone to a small custom shop that does high-end furniture. Then we'll take them to another company that does mass production of some things, just to give an example of what's out there. Outside of that, there was something else you said or asked about the field trip.
Do they actually see?
They do
the
actually see
being
that.
done?
We do have guests from time to time come in, former students who are currently working, and they come in and talk a little bit about the work that they do in their shop and how their shop operates as well.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, in all, the students that you do enroll into the program, what, in a nutshell, are you looking for from them, or what are you looking within them to have?
We are looking for people who want to work full-time in the industry after completion of the program. So this program is mainly designed for job placement. A lot of the funding that we get that is provided that lets you do the training for free is contingent on you working full-time in the industry afterwards. So that's what we're looking for, someone who's dedicated, timely, willing to learn, and wants to consider this as their as a career choice. One of the things I wanted to mention so you're in the shop, but you do have other classes. There's print reading, where we teach you how to read blueprints, computer basics, where we cover things like Microsoft Word and help people who need to write their resume. There's a job readiness course where we look at interviewing skills, things like that. Also shop math and language learning.
Okay, so we're going to close it up, and I'm going to put the information on the screen for you just one more time. The Greater Westtown Training Partnership, the Woodworking Manufacturing Program, location 500 North Sacramento, Chicago, Illinois, 60612. The phone number 312-563-9570. You have 3 other formats that you can contact them on: Facebook, the World Wide Web, and the email. Don't forget to call, get your seats. There's a class coming up April 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you.